Brothers and sisters, my name is Navin Shekhar. I'm speaking to you from India state, Maharashtra. The world is getting busy day by day. We are in a hurry all the time. Whether it is education or job or profession, everyone wants to climb the ladder very quickly. Only a few within this race, some people who have failed in their efforts, try to reach the top through various other means. Some get dejected and withdraw from the race. Some people get jealous over those who have succeeded in life. There are few others who lament, saying, I trusted the Lord so much, but I did not do anything for me. But He did not do anything for me. Today let us meditate whether the Lord will give us what we want. Jesus Himself has said, ask and it shall be given to you. So He will certainly give us what we need. Whatever He would like to narrate us how we must ask our needs to God. In the Bible we read about a person who was miraculously healed by Jesus. His name was Bartimaeus. We read about him in the 10th chapter of Mark as well as in the 18th chapter of Luke. Jesus and His disciples along with a large crowd were approaching Jericho. Bartimaeus was sitting by the roadside begging. It was at that time Jesus was passing that way. Bartimaeus had already heard about Jesus, that He heals the blind, the lame and the sick. He also knew that He raised even the dead. So he firmly believed that Jesus could restore his eyesight. That is why he shouted, Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me. Jesus asked him, what do you want me to do for you? Of course, Jesus knew very well that Bartimaeus needed eyesight, but he wanted to know what Bartimaeus was going to ask him. My dear brothers and sisters, in the same way, are you praying to God with faith? Are you saying, I am praying to God with great faith? Will the Lord grant me this blessing or that blessing? So I would personally like to advise you to ask the Lord very pointedly. Of course, the Lord knows what we need before we ask Him. But the Lord wants us to ask all our needs in a specific manner. Once a pastor established a new church. There were only 15 persons who were attending this church regularly, since that pastor was a very poor man. He needed so many things for his church, especially a bicycle, a table and a bench. Suddenly the pastor remembered a scripture portion from the Bible, from the book of John chapter 14 verse 14. You may ask me for anything in my name and I will do it. According to this promise, the pastor prayed with great faith, Lord, in your name, I am asking for a bicycle, a table and a bench. Despite his fervent prayers, the pastor did not get anything. Instead, he was wallowing in poverty. He was finding it difficult even to get his food. At this critical juncture, he lamented, saying, Lord, I asked all these things only for your ministry, but you have forsaken me. It was then the Lord reminded him that He was a God who calls those things which do not exist as if they do exist. And there is nothing impossible for Him. He also revealed to him that he must ask pointedly like Bartimaeus. Now the pastor changed the style of his prayer. He began to ask pointedly, saying, Lord, I need this particular brand bicycle. I need this particular table. with such measurements and this particular bench with such particular measurement. The next week he announced in his church, I prayed specifically to God for a particular cycle, table and bench, and he has given them to me. When he returned home after the worship service, he saw 3 persons standing near his house. His pastor was taken aback to see them. Although all these 3 of them were his church members, they were very tough guys. It was such people the pastor was preaching the gospel. All the 3 of them anonymously asked, Pastor, you told that the Lord has given you a bicycle, a table and a bench. So we have come to see them. Show to us. The pastor did not know what to do. Then, if he says no, he will make them trouble. For a moment he prayed, saying, Lord, please help me to answer them. Suddenly he got an idea. He asked all the 3 of them to come inside his house and asked them how many months a child will be in its mother's womb. They replied, 10 months. The pastor asked, can that child see the world during those 10 months? They replied, no. The pastor continued, can we see that child? They said, no. Then the pastor explained to them, saying, in the same way, you cannot see these 3 things also. Only at the appointed time you can see them. At that time I will show them to you. He convinced them and sent them away. Many days passed by. After almost 6 months, a person came seeking the pastor, and he gave him a considerable amount as an offering to buy things for the church. With that money, the pastor brought all the 3 things he needed for the church. Those who wait upon the Lord shall never be put to shame. If we read the book of Lamentation chapter 3, verse 26, the Bible also says, hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a longing fulfilled is a tree of life. So my dear brothers and sisters, do not speak word of unbelief, but ask the Lord pointedly and with faith. Ask Him with all authority and wait patiently till He gives you. He gives everything at His appointed time. So therefore, He will certainly give you the desires of your heart. May the Lord bless you.